So ever since I was a, well, somewhat functioning adult with a decent computer capture equipment and other things related, I've always wanted to cover one game. One game that is free rent in my brain. It has tucked itself in the back. Just right in there. And the funny thing is, I actually completely forgot this game existed until I was scrolling Steam, who is currently having their winter sale, and my wallet has been in shambles from this. And I came across Zenoclash. I remember this game so vividly that I immediately purchased it, but at the same time, I was pleasantly surprised that there is actually not just a sequel, but there is a spiritual successor, a continuation of the game series in the form of Clash. So, at this moment, I immediately purchased all two of these, and that last one, well, we'll get to that at some point whenever it releases. But also, there was another title that really caught my eye: The Eternal Cylinder, which kind of looks like the same kind of weird, wacky world that you would expect from a game like Zenoclash, but put in almost a Spore, maybe Pikmin kind of strategy. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Now, already you might be sitting there thinking, whoa, what about the what about the RuneScape content? It'll be there. Don't worry. But I want to do this for me, and I want to give a retrospective about Zenoclash because after doing a little research on ye old YouTubes, there's barely anything on it. No one has really dug into this game. Well, I'm not going to dig in too deep, but it's not also that deep of a game either. You see, Ace Team was assembled by three brothers who used to work on mods, but after the mod scene started to change a little bit, they decided to go work for Wakanda Game. I said Wakanda. Wakanda Forever Brothers. No, Wanako Games, which is based in Chile, which is where, well, those three brothers live. After this, they decided to go and make their own studio, which is the birth of Ace Team. And from the birth of Ace Team, we got our first game, Zenoclash. Now, initially, Zenoclash was just going to be called Xenozoic. It was going to be the combination of Zenoclash, which that's the game we got, but also elements from the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Just think about it. Open world, doing quests, leveling up, all in this wacky, beautiful, strange alien world. I'm all for it. 100%. And a lot of the influence that I gathered from multiple articles talking about the game says they were influenced by The Dark Crystal, and The Dark Crystal is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I even have a tattoo of The Dark Crystal on my leg before it was cool, before the announcement of the Netflix show, so don't come at me with being a person who just hops on trends. I love that shit. The game in question of Zenoclash is a first-person brawler. Now, it's one of those titles that is, it functions, it does what it needs to do, but then it is just topped with a layer of jank. Almost a charming level of jank, but it's still a layer and a level of jank that fluctuates depending where you are in the game. So in the game's opening, it just gives you a flash of things that have happened and things that are going to happen. And if you pay attention to these, you can piece the story together. The story is told in a really strange way, but once you get to the end, it will all make sense. It's the way it told its story is actually pretty successful at it. Let's be honest.
Hello, cat. Hat trick with the bomb. You learned that from me, remember? But you didn't do it right. You are not dead like me. Let's see what else you remember from your training.
When you actually start the game, you enter a dreamscape where you learn how to kick and lock on to enemies. You have your standard punch combo, then you have the strong attack. So this absolute Chad right here is Metamox. Metamog. What is confusing about the names is sometimes the names are said different in the game, so they're going to kind of be sometimes said different in the retrospective. So he teaches you how to block, and you're introduced to the stamina bar. You can step sideways, which allows you to dodge, and you can switch targets in the middle of combat, which in this tutorial it seems pretty easy, but when you are really in the thick of it and you have 4 or 5 dudes around you, that's when it gets a little janky. Janky will be the word we use when we're talking about most things regarding Zenoclash. I do really love the knee bash and how you can just, after breaking their skull in, you toss them to the sides. One of my favorites. Once the tutorial vision ends, Gat, our main protagonist, wakes up and ditches as some of the others come too. This story is, as I said earlier, told backwards and it's told forwards, so just be prepared for that. We end up escaping the city gates, and let me just say, this game has such a unique style. I can't even compare it to anything else that's out on the market even today.
Gat, I don't know why you did it. Father, Mother's children are already coming. Are you listening? Gat!
If you stay with me, they might hunt you down too.
I know.
There he is! We'll eat your butter and toughen your skull! Try to resist, Gat. I'll try to open the gate.
Oh, yeah, and these 3 turds show up, attempting to avenge Father Mother, but honestly, this is just letting the player try out the new skills you learned just from the tutorial we just participated in. And this right here, this is Onpa. This is Onpa right here. We fucking hate Onpa. There's an ability to kick characters off of edges, but they will climb back up and finish the fight. But if it happens to you, you just die, even though there's nets down there. And this shows up a lot, so just be ready. And also, moving forward in the video, I will be using the word kick and tef as swear words because those are the swear words that are used in the world of Xenozoic apparently. So just be prepared for that change. The mechanics of the game fall into the category of easy to play. It's like easy to pick up, just get started, but it's difficult to master. Oh yeah, eating these yellow mangoes will restore your health. There's not a lot of items. Sometimes there's skull bombs that you can toss on the ground and big old sticks you can pick up, but other than that, these are all the items you have. So once Deidre, our friend, opens the gate, we pass out once again and receive, one of the last parts of the main tutorial. In the world of Xenozoic, we definitely do have guns. These guns shoot out like little metal balls though, so they don't kill anyone. Sorta, well, we'll talk about that later. So this is probably one of the most unique tutorials I've ever been a part of, which is shooting headless chickens when Metamox just separates their head from their body and tosses it out there. And can we just talk about his voice real quick?
That explosion was the last thing I saw when I was alive. That was the last thing Father and Mother saw when she was alive. But you are not dead.
The voice is literally the deep voice you would make when you were young little lads playing pretend in the backyard, and none of you can honestly tell me different. Don't tell me you were pretending to be knights or in a fantasy world and someone had to be the bad guy and they would just drop their voice and do the
I am the Dark Lord. I am here to kill you.
Like, don't tell me none of your friends did that, because 100% they did. So once we awaken, Deidre lets us know that, hey, they're pursuing us, we gotta go. We shoot some jumpy dogs, and after our hated guy Onpa pushes her off the edge, we gotta fight 3 more of our brothers and sisters. And I don't know why, but just Onpa just pushing her off was a lot more raw than in other games where they like get killed up there or they get destroyed, or and I hope that's making sense. I don't know, just the push and just the collapsing just seemed more realistic and a little more violent than anything else. I don't know, maybe my brain's just weird. This round gives us a chance to use guns and fists, but if it isn't the grenade launcher, The guns aren't useful in a fist fight, surprisingly, but I could understand how that could break the game, standing back and just pelting your enemies with bullets as they run at you. But, I mean, the grenade launcher is just, it's the best. Just, if you find it, use it. These ragdolls crack me up. Oh, look, there we go, a grenade launcher. Yeah, the aiming is a little interesting on this weapon. All the other weapons, the aiming functions just as it needs to, but the grenade launcher, it's a little wonky. After a quick pep talk, we rush off into the woods and away from the city. Guns are useful when the situation is specifically curated for it, like shooting these crabs and wrathbirds with this metal as, well, I was going to say metal as fuck, but since we're using different words, metal as keck crossbow. Look, it's just little screaming heads that you fire at people. I love it. Every area is just an arena that you can explore a little bit, but you're just going to be fighting. The game's going to give you the equipment that it has curated the situation for, so you might end up with a certain type of gun, or you might end up with a crossbow, or even the grenade launcher. It just all depends. After this little shooting gallery, we are introduced to the Corwid of the Free. These guys just decided to disconnect from logic, morals, societal norms, and safety just to do one thing and to do it very well. And most descriptions end with the statement along the lines of, and that's what they did.
One of them was Erminia. Erminia peed on herself and starved to death anonymously. And that is what Erminia did, because Corwids are not slaves of their needs, of eating or sleeping. There was also Gabel. Gabel ate people, and that's just what he had to do. Here, I met Oxometer. Oxometer just walks in a straight line without letting anything change his path. And that's what Oxometer does. There was also Helm. Helm needed to be invisible, so he removed the eyes from anything that could see him. Luckily, he never became invisible to me.
So we meet this one guy who is just beating his head into a tree. And that's what he does. He's really good at beating his head into a tree. This is where the story starts to be introduced. That Gat reveals that he was a Corwid once. Which is why in the beginning, Father Mother was so upset with Gat, because Gat was asking, hey, what are these Corwids about? He was just curious about their customs and how they lived.
The Corwids are not slaves of reality, so they can be insane.
You almost seem to admire them.
I was a Corwid of the Free.
Nah, come on.
It is true. This is where I've been most of this last month.
So, was it the Corwids who made you kill Father Mother? Was that it?
No, it's not like that at all.
But what did you do here? What's so special about these crackpots? I don't get it.
It's not easy to explain. I'll tell you what I can about the Corwids I met. One of them was Erminia. Erminia peed on herself and starved to death anonymously. And that is what Erminia did, because Corwids are not slaves of their needs, of eating or sleeping. There was also Gabel. Gabel ate people, and that's just what he had to do. The Corwids are not slaves to morality or common sense. So, if I were like Animasta, I would have let Gabel eat me. But I didn't feel I had to be eaten.
So after duking it out with the two Corwids in Gabel's cage, we have to fight the big guy. And bigger enemies can only be hurt by heavy, blunt instruments. I could never get the timing on these big fights right. But you can brute force your way through it. Also, that huge golf ball will kill you in one hit if he slaps it, so just be aware of that. So now we move on to a new area, and you will start to notice that these enemies repeat. you will see that we actually don't really kill anyone for the most part. We just beat them senseless to the point of being knocked unconscious, which in the long term might be worse than death due to their brain slowly deteriorating into a mush, into a paste with all the blunt force trauma to their skulls that I have been administering. Oh, it's Helm. Or Helm. See, I can't keep track of the names. It's a multi-part kind of boss fight where Helm just keeps showing up and trying to give you issue because, well, Helm can see you with his eyes and he doesn't like that. He wants to be invisible, so he's going to kill you. You shoot a few more Wrathbirds, beat the cack out of Helm one more time, and bing bang boom, this level's done.
Metamok wanted to teach me everything he knew, and he was also trying to hurt me. I don't know the reason. Maybe he didn't need a reason.
What have you learned? 3 more skills and you will be ready.
Ready for what?
3 more skills and you will be ready.
So at this point, I know the game is going for a strange way of storytelling, but I'm going to be honest, I'm sick of these tutorials. Some of it feels like padding at this point. I get it, Metamok. You missed your boy Gat. What are you doing with all those mushrooms, huh? Oh, 3-on-1. Now it is a fair fight. After beating, well, I don't know what they are. The apparitions? You fight Metamox, and at the end of the fight, Metamox just does this.
If you are satisfied and do what you feel you must do, no matter what that is. Then you have reached perfection.
And then he killed himself.
That's a cackin' weird story. If that is what the Corwood of the Free are like, I don't want to stay here.
So after the story, during some desert cuddles, we have to go shoot some wildlife for Dinder. Yeah, and I said Dinder. That wasn't a mistake. I wrote it in the script. Dinder. D-I-N-D-E-R. Tinder with a D. And I just want to say again, this game is so unique and creative, and do not walk past this point because these worms will eat you. Is that an outhouse around that thing's neck? Dang. Look at that brontosaurus elephant pussy. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What are you doing, my girl?
I may be blind, but I know I'm aiming at her brain. You have a powerful family, Gat. They offer a handsome reward for your head. You know, they told me I had to kill her too.
Don't!
Meet me back at where those monsters are, and I will leave her.
I really do love how we turn around just in the nick of time to see some really amateur parkour. I expected he would be gone, but nope, we're just still catching him jumping away. So I understand how this boss fight is supposed to work, but it doesn't really. So let me explain what they want you to do. It is intended for you to kill the squirrels with the bombs on their back before you take pot shots at the hunter. But you can literally just strafe and shoot the hunter over and over again and not even get touched by one squirrel. Not even once.
Stupid animals!
I give that a 4 out of 10, honestly. Didn't stick the landing.
I saw him. Who was that?
Someone my family sent. A hunter.
They sent a hunter after you? How did all this start? When did your brothers and sisters start treating you as their enemy? You'll tell me all about it while we eat.
After Metama killed himself, I decided to go back to Halstom. But I didn't go back to the family's plaza. Instead, I went to see the Northern Gate gang. Our family traded with the gang, but I wanted to know firsthand why Father and Mother spent so much time with them.
Stop! If you wish to enter the Northern Gate bar, you must first tell me of the small slender stalks with tiny yellow flower heads, because I am destitute and cannot learn about such things on my own.
Only friends can enter the Northern Gate bar. You need the password.
And I'm going to be honest, it took me way too long to just walk down the hall in the correct direction. That wasn't the dev's fault, that was just me being stupid.
Aren't you one of Father Mother's men? You should know you're not allowed to enter.
Father and Mother sent for me. I forgot the password.
Of course. Let me tell you something. Some members decided to leave our Northern Gate gang. One Tef stole my best pipes too. Bring him here, and I will remind you which was the password.
So, Tef is, the other swear word, which I will now be incorporating into the script. Oh, look at that nice little doggy. I will say, I really do recommend some time before you get into combat just to explore the world and listen to the wacky side discussions that you'll hear, because some of them are pretty good. Yeah, I really do love this gun. So the whole reason we're out here is to get the password to go through the door so we can see what Father Mother's up to. And this is the guy we have to just beat up, honestly. That lady just wanted us to beat him up. And how do I even pronounce this guy's name? Jasaj? Jasa? Is one of the letters silent?
Stop if you wish to enter to the Northern Gate bar.
Goldenrod.
Mom, it is true. Welcome.
So the answer is Goldenrod, and I do like the genuine surprise that the door gives me at the answer. I don't know why, it just always really stuck with me. My friend here in the bar is really just double-cheeked up. So it seems like the pig lad here is interested in actually trying to help us out. Kettlehead here seems like we got similar kinks. Oh, how you doing? Hey, yeah, Dad, Mom, listen, I have a question.
God, why did you bring him here? It's my baby. Don't let him get near my babies.
Oh, delightful, a big guy fight. It's always in these big fights you get knocked over, and it is very disorienting. I actually had to stop playing for a bit on one of the fights I struggled on because I was actually getting motion sickness. Now, I am not the type of guy to hurt cute animals, but this ragdoll effect just... it cackin' kills me. See, I'm adding in the Xenozoic swear words now. Whoa, wait. Are those 4 breasts? How you doing, girl? So after beating the big guy, the rat squad comes here to fight us. God, I keep getting distracted. Oh, a grenade launcher. Don't mind if I do.
Why did you think I'd want to hurt you? Why couldn't I come here?
He didn't know. But why are you here? It's too late now. You must go away. Go away with your new family, the Corwids. You cannot stay with us anymore.
After that, Father and Mother told my family and the Northern Gate gang that I was a Corwid, not allowed to get near anymore. No one was allowed to speak to me either.
Yeah, literally, Gad just came here just to hang out with Father Mother and probably ask Father Mother, hey, can I come back to the family? The Corwids, they're cool, but they're kind of silly. They're kind of silly in the brain. So I personally really enjoy this level once we get past that story part, and this is where the game changes its pacing a little. After lighting the crystal club by hitting it off of a candle, we fight off these creatures which I believe are referred to as golems. So we navigate this creepy otherworldly desert by setting up bonfires and continuing to push through. Oh, it's these cackers. I actually really like these swear words. I'm probably going to start using it in real life. These guys will almost insta-kill you, if not just immediately kill you. So if you don't kill them as soon as you see them, you're going to have to be resetting at a checkpoint. Now the path segment here is cool, all the rocks lifting out of the mist, but don't step in the mist or you will die immediately. But you need to backtrack a little bit to get rid of these things.
Are you still there?
See, I told you insta-kill. It is just imperative you handle these guys as soon as possible. All it takes is one lob from your club of this little ball of energy, but still at the same time, yeah, it is what it is, and you only see them here, so don't worry about it. We won't have that problem later.
Yeah, shouldn't we? It's just that sometimes I feel we're just walking in a straight line, like oximeter, and... No! Wait!
Hey, listen, girl, don't you dare Tef talk Oximeter. Oximeter was a true homie. You shut your stupid mouth. So now the golems are going to try to blow out this candle as it tries to light, so you have to protect this candle, and then the room will open up. And once we're introduced to this, we go into the next room where we see this absolute Chad sitting in a chair, and now we have to light these 4 candles. And I gotta say, I don't know if this is intentional on the devs or whatever, but I really like these type of puzzles. I really like when a game gives you a task. You don't have to select off a menu or anything. All you have to do is decide for yourself. I could go around and light all these candles and then try to protect all these candles from being blown out from the golems. Or I could just decide to, hey, you know what? I'm just going to hit one to guarantee my success, but it's going to take a little longer. I actually decided to just pick 2 on one side, and even then one of them got blown out, but you could just relight it. It's no big deal. So after we, finally light all the candles, we see this absolutely jacked cack who is making me a little confused sexually.
What is this place? Who are you?
You may call me Golem. I am glad you seek the light as I do. For years, I have only seen these shadows. But if you are here, it is because you are lost.
We're not lost. We were going that way until we bumped into you.
No, God. There isn't anything left there. Surprised I know your name. I know everything about you. Deidra. Every step you take away from Hellstom is to find something better, but every place you leave is worse than the last. We must go back to the real world and solve the problems you are escaping from.
Why would you want to come with us?
Here I was a prisoner, but you have freed me.
But we will never be safe in Halston.
You didn't have me with you before. I can help.
Gat, it sure would be nice to go back to a normal place. We already saw the end of the world.
So this gentleman named Golem decides to take us back to the city on a little boat ride. We shoot some cultists, look at some environments, take a peek at the giant creatures, and then we're ready to move on.
The Corwood of the Free. These are the most abject and miserable creatures sight anywhere beheld.
I'm pretty sure Golem is just describing my friend group with this statement.
And inhabitants of the same world.
I take it you don't like Corwoods then?
If you won't try to find coherence in the world, have the courtesy of becoming apathetic instead of affecting others with your pointless actions.
Why do you hate the Corwoods so much? They're just insane.
I wish that were true, but each one of them has chosen this.
We aren't so lucky this time, Deidre. We won't get through the woods without a fight. You hear that music? It's Chinero's music, and it gets most Corwoods all feisty.
And what are you so happy about?
It's the music. It gets to me too. If we get rid of Chinero, the other Corwoods will calm down.
Chinero is an added enemy type, which I would actually like to see a little more of if the game was longer, but already the pacing at this point starts to get a little samey, but as I mentioned before, in between 46 hours and we're reaching the end of our game here. So with this additional enemy, Corwoods will never officially get knocked out. You can beat them down, but they will just get back up because those beats just be jamming. Even Gat says he likes them. It gets to him. So it took me a long time to figure this out, but you gotta knock down the Corwoods so you can focus on Cheerio. I also just glitched him into the environment and then just beat the Tef out of them. And it's, of course, after that, Gabel comes back and we have to fight him, but he just kept kind of running away to a very specific location, just stand there, and then after a few hits, he would just get some random hits on me. I don't know. Eventually, I was able just to brute force my way through it, and I got it done. I got done what I needed to do. So Golem and Deidre hop down, and I am requested to hunt some food. After I just murdered these people, I'll just knock them out. We don't murder here on Xenozoic. I have to hunt down some food, which leads to an ambush from the Corwoods and my brother and sister. And there was a part of me that thought, the Corwoods were fighting with me because they're like, hey, we like you, Gap, but we don't like your siblings. But no, it's just everyone fighting me. And I really feel like after all this, there definitely has to be some brain swelling, if not bleeding, in all of these people.
Oh, fuck. I can't believe you've done this.
So the next story beat, we're in a short sewer level. And it's not even a whole level, just more of an introduction, which I appreciate because if Civ 11 has taught me anything, I really don't like sewer levels. So after snooping around, I decided to check up on the cheeked up melted man. This guy literally looks like someone was melting him, and right in the middle of the process, they chucked him into the freezer, and now we just have the peak form of male physical fitness. This guy and I think we have a lot in common. Ooh, what's happening in here?
You're not allowed here! Look here! Get here!
Brother, I will beat your teffin' cack. I think I used those swears right. Don't get distracted by the four breasts. Don't get distracted by the four breasts. Don't get distracted by the four breasts. And it's at this point where the game really starts to seep into that level of jank and start to become repetitive. But this is where we reach the final act of the game. Oh, and of course, another big enemy fight. Cock! So we finally confront Father Mother. Now this fight is incredibly frustrating. Here's the strategy to get through it. You have 3 guys on the ground level with you and 2 above shooting you. Best method is to lure all the guys under the platform, beat them up, and then slip out and shoot the other 2 before you proceed. And this is when we finally face Father Mother in this fight, and I do not know how they want to complete it without a healthy amount of cheese. And what I mean by that is, well, death after death, loss after loss, I started getting incredibly frustrated. Best way to defeat Father Mother in this fight and every other, spoilers, fight moving forward with Father Mother, bring them to this pillar, and from there you're going to want to shoot the legs, because you're supposed to shoot the legs, but I don't know, the aiming and the movement was always too sporadic for me. So what I ended up doing was standing by the pillar, luring them over, shooting their legs, and then just beating them over and over again until the fight was over. And now we have just made it to the beginning of this tale.
You were my son, God. You were my son. Of all my children.
You're still not telling me Father Mother's secret?
No. Now that she is dead, no one should ever know it.
I also noticed in my playthrough that every so often Gat refers to Father Mother as he and she, which is obvious, but it's not usually it's not consistent. Sometimes he'll say he, sometimes he'll say she. I don't know. I thought it was just cool.
There's only one gate into Halston. Why are we taking the long road to it?
Kat's brothers and sisters are looking for you on the main road.
Hi there. That's a really nice pig you have there.
Pig? No, it's not a pig. Or at least not just a pig. This is my son, Gusney. Some months ago, I was surprised too, when I saw my little boy look like a pig.
I've never heard about that. It's never happened where I live.
It took me a little time to get used to, but now everything's fine. Isn't that right, Gusney, my little boy?
I want you to remember this woman when we're in Halston. But you must get ready. There is someone dangerous following us.
What are you talking about?
You should go to the coast and prepare to fight. You're an easy target here in the open. Go where you can hear the waves. Go where sounds echo against the ghost wall.
Now this arena is one of my personal favorites. I love the beach setting and the massive beached sea creature right next to me. So the hunter's back, obviously. And after about 5 minutes of wandering around, the fight finally decided to trigger. And this fight is exactly the same as the fight before, so just rinse and repeat the same tactics I used in the last fight, and we're good to go. Now we return to the... I didn't even know you could die there. Now we return to the area we started to be greeted by our friend, the hunter. This actually did startle me when he does the turnaround. After a standard fist fight, by fighting him with one hand behind his back, he busts out 2 of them. And after this fight, well, what you'll notice in this game at this point is you will win the fight, but in the cutscene you'll lose it, but then something will happen to progress the story in some way, so just be prepared for that.
I've had enough fun already. There's no one I can... Ah!
What happened just now?
I said I would help you, and that is what I'm doing.
Where are you going?
To Halston.
So Golem steps in, and the second the hunter scratches the Golem, we're affected, me and Deidre, and I'm not really sure why. It's never really explained, but that's Zenoclash for you, baby. So as we return, we get put into more combat encounters, and instead of taking it step by step, because it is just literally every person, thing, Corwid, and visage of your mother attacking us all at once, the fights are enjoyable, but there's nothing narratively that happens other than just you are approaching the city.
Enough! I'm tired of this quarreling inside our family. Follow me.
Oh hey, Dad, Mom. I like the new eye. As you can see, we don't technically kill anyone, just cause blunt force trauma to their, well, everything.
Who are you?
Father, Mother, I have come here to bring fair treatment for...
You have no business with our family. Gatsby a bad boy. I should have punished him long ago. Come here. Come here right now.
Father, Mother!
Yeah!
Let him come. It's Father who has to teach him his lesson.
Oh, that's right. Wait, another fight. Alright, I'm just gonna do the same thing again. I guess. Okay, what's the secret? Tell us, you dumb chicken cack.
This is a problem.
Behind you!
You could either tell my secret or destroy me. I'm glad you didn't tell my secret.
I'm not going to tell. And I'm not going to kill you either. I do consider you my father and mother. You just have to stop doing what you do with the children.
Cat wouldn't tell you Father Mother has a secret, but I will. Things are going to change here. Father Mother is neither your father nor your mother.
Huh?
He is a male creature, incapable of giving birth to anyone or anything. He took each one of you away from your real fathers and mothers when you were babies. In time, I can prove this to each one of you and show you your real families. There are things bigger than Halston, and things bigger even than Xenozoid. This too I will show you.